Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, I'm going to show you how the vacuum is run on a 1998 Volvo V70 turbo model. If your vehicle is equipped with this Sas valve that bolts onto your exhaust, it'll have a purple line coming off of it. That purple line is routed up to the fan shroud. Right under the fan shroud is the Sas Valve Solenoid. It'll go in the bottom side of that solenoid. Then there's a line that comes out the passenger side of that solenoid and comes around and goes into the vacuum tree. Where it goes into the vacuum tree, there's a check valve between it. The black part of the check valve is toward the vacuum tree. The white part of the check valve is toward the radiator. And I believe that allows air to flow from the vacuum tree into that Sas valve. That is the only thing that should be connected to that vacuum tree, unless you have a boost valve or something hooked up to it. As you can see, this vacuum tree is missing two plugs, so I'm going to hook up a silicone hose that loops those two vacuum tree ports closed. Every once in a while you'll get a slight leak at the base of that vacuum tree. It has a gasket, rubber O-ring in the bottom of it that is a custom fit from Volvo. It's about $1.50. The next set of vacuum lines I'm going to explain to you come off the turbo. This part of the turbo here that my finger is on is the wastegate. The wastegate goes over to your turbo control valve and it plugs into the yellow port on your turbo control valve. So this yellow port goes to your wastegate. That's why it has yellow tape on it. The next vacuum line coming off the turbo is down under the intake. I don't know if you can see my hand down here under the turbo intake, but there's a hose that comes off of that turbo intake. It comes around here, and this is it here. It should have red on it somewhere, but this hose goes into the red port of your turbo control valve. It reads the pressure directly off the turbo, and it goes again into the red port. You see that red dot there? That red dot indicates that it goes right down there to the bottom of the turbo. Let me see if I can get a closer up picture of where that line goes in that turbo down there. Right under the turbo intake is where that hose goes. If that hose is old and crappy, you might want to change it, because if it leaks, it'll stop your turbo control valve from getting the pressure reading, which may affect your boost pressure from your computer. The next hose comes off your turbo control valve and it goes to the bottom of your air intake, and it reads your intake pressure for your computer. The next hose goes to the side, kind of top of your air intake, and it goes down here to a small port that sits on top of your hose that goes from your radiator to the back of the engine. It's got a small metal nipple there that vacuum line goes to. So from that little nipple over here to your air intake, and I think it just brings warm air off of your heater system to keep ice or something from forming in that hose. That's the only thing I could guess that's for. You got a big hose that runs under your battery. It goes over here to your intake port on the bottom of your throttle body. That's your brake booster vacuum. You got some kind of fuel vacuum that goes into this fuel metal line back to, I believe, your fuel tank, and those lines that run by your fuel filter. This line coming off the top of your intake port on your intake manifold goes into this check valve here, and that goes back to your PCV hose on the base of your intake hose. So your intake hose has that hose off the manifold after that check valve. It also has your two PCV lines, your small one and your big one. Now that hose that goes back to that base of that intake, where it tees off after that check valve, it goes to your purge valve that has a plug there. The other end of it goes to a blue filter thing, and then that routes down under the vehicle. I believe it goes back by those hoses where your fuel pump is. That port on the bottom of your intake, under the one that goes to the base of that tube, goes around the engine back to the turbo. So this is the third hose that comes off the turbo, and if you look here where my finger is wiggling, that goes to your turbo bypass valve. So when your turbo bypasses, it blows air out of that valve and dumps it into your intake system. The cruise control has its own vacuum pump and hoses that go back into the firewall, so that's self-contained. It has the PVC hoses hooked up. The one on the right there is the one that comes off of that T from the intake and check valve. Then this one goes to the passenger side of the manifold, and this one goes to the oil trap box. And as you can see, I put a couple of new silicone hoses on this turbo control valve stuff, because that stuff was rotted out. So this turbo control valve hose plugs into the bottom of the intake there, like that. And then this yellow one goes on the side of the intake up here, like this. Have my air box in place. I'm gonna go ahead and put a zip tie on this hose that goes to the air pump. I don't have any other information on vacuum hoses for the 98 model. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.